Essential.
So here is like, I'm here in New York and everything, and I'm Chase, the hijacker, and even though we have taken our summer break, we knew that the Fantastic Four was playing, in August coming up and everything. So this is going to be a spoilers review because, as we all know, that too many people were not able to see Fantastic Four. I mean, Fox has chosen not to release it for the press, and so all that really did was create a feeding frenzy of sharks. And so, from Rotten Tomatoes on down to John Campier and the Collider crew, everybody was trying to say how bad this movie was. And I gotta say that I actually enjoyed it. So, here's my spoiler review of Fantastic Four.
Essential. 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 Essential.
Yeah, right. Spoiler review of Fantastic Four. Jackson wanted to join me into this, but then again, as he at one point said he enjoyed the film, and then at one point said he didn't enjoy the film, and I actually want to give a really fair assessment of Fantastic Four. We all know the story about Josh Trank. We all know the story about how Fox, as a production company, did not back the film at either stages. We all know the story of Simon Kinberg not getting along with Josh Trank, and we also know the story about how Marvel had canceled the official Marvel Comics version of Fantastic Four in light of what they saw happening to their beloved characters. So, first of all, let's get to the fact that I do agree that the film was not exactly what anybody expected. We had gotten no advance warning to what to be expected, and there was so much tragedy and reshoots going on that who knows what the film was supposed to be. But let's see, how shall we take this? So first of all, let's go into why I like the film. Because of course, there's going to be negatives. There's going to be problems with the script and the how the film was actually put out. But first of all, let me get to my positives. My positives on the film was is that it actually was entertaining. The film had me gripped because it was different. It was an origin story that was a different type of origin story, definitely from the campy Tim Story version of the Fantastic Four. They went to the ultimate FF version of the younger kids working for Franklin Storm and this teen think tank, and and what I actually liked was is that from the origin being ultimately changed from the comics. It also did a time jump, which has never been done in films before. Usually, the hero gets his power and then bam, he has to go up as his first villain. But this was different in a sense where it showed that instead of them having to learn about their powers and see them stumble, we get them getting their powers, and we get it done in a what they call a body horror type of scenario, which makes this a different film. Which is another reason why people didn't like it. And then they jumped a year later, and actually they jumped previously before Reed Richards showed up at the Baxter Building. They jumped 7 years. So it was a really interesting take, which I'm sure was Josh Trank's take on the film. So let's look at the beginning of the film. The beginning of the film I thought was pure genius. I'd rather have just followed Reed and Ben as kids. I mean, it didn't. Josh didn't take the Steven Spielberg approach, but it had touches of Spielberg in there. But I'd rather follow them. Those kids were brilliant, great actors. Don't know their names, who played the young Reed and the young Ben. But that was a great storyline. I mean, from giving we've never seen Reed as a kid. We didn't know much about his parents. We didn't know much about Ben's family as well. And this was all probably purely invented by Josh and Simon. And I thought that was pure genius. It really established why they had a bond together. And Reed was constantly searching for something. He was searching for teleportation. He was searching for. He didn't even think it was interdimensional travel. I mean, for such a smart kid, he just thought he was teleporting, toys to Santa Fe or something like that. Which is great because why should a kid think of another dimension or a negative zone? You know, um, so that was really cool. But I loved that whole opening sequence to how Reed was constantly searching for something, and he was using his brain box, and Ben was there, just kind of like his wingman. You know, so and then they picked up, sometime later, Reed at a science fair, and he shows his progression in inventing this transportational device, and his teacher who hated him from a kid still hated him, and that's where he meets up with Franklin Storm and his daughter Sue. Now, like, who they're like, hey, yeah, this is great, this is interesting because we know a guy who actually invented something very similar to this. You go, what? Now, this was intriguing to me because it was kind of cool in the sense where Franklin Storm, was searching for somebody who can do what this other kid could do, and he finally found him. And then he took that as an opportunity to bring back his prodigal son, who turned out to be Victor Von Doom and not Victor Domashov. Now, this was the first ping that went off because I'm like, well, wait a minute, hold on. I was totally suspecting there to be this Victor Domashov. Whether or not he was going to be a blogger or not, I was totally suspecting this because this is what we were told. As fans, we were told that Victor Doom's name was changed. We were told that he was a blogger. We didn't know, how he was going to intersect into the story. And Fox chose not to let us know about this. And it's kind of like, why did they hold us back? Were they holding us back because it was supposed to be a secret? Were they holding us back because we could go, oh, it was one of those things that, you keep close to your vest and it really pisses people off. So there was no Victor Domashov, there was no blogger, there was just Victor Von Doom, who was pretty upset that, his interdimensional travel device, did not work. And as a spoiled little brat, he went off into, isolation. And he probably was a blogger. When he was in the basement, he had some weird device on his face when the storm came in there, and like he probably was doing some blogging stuff and everything because he was just kind of like, oh, I hate everybody. And then he's like, what? Who's this kid who figured out what I already should know? And it really set up that rivalry. It also set up the rivalry with the fact that he also had feelings for Sue. Now, we get this first introduction to Sue and Franklin, and we see that this black man has a white daughter, and we don't say anything about it. Just take it as normal, right? Because we were supposed to be in 2007, 2014 by this point, and so we're thinking, yeah, Modern Family, man, whatever, what up, right? But come on, there's got to be some reason there. Anyway, so Victor Von Doom, who is also supposed to be a foreigner, who is played by Toby Kebbell, who's a British actor. There's nothing about him being from Latveria or, talking strangely except for with his British accent. So, anyway, Victor, Sue, and Reed come together as a triangle. And again, we got an interesting dynamic here. So, this is all totally unexpected because we're supposed to be seeing the Fantastic Four link up, and we get, this fantastic triad of brainheads. So then we get introduced to Johnny Storm, who is the black son, and who was like angry about something. So we get him driving, doing the drag race, and kind of cocky and everything like that. And he crashes his car and everything, and his dad comes and gets him out of jail. Now, what happens here is that I'm just giving like the rundown.
Let's have a spoiler alert. No,
Yeah, this is a spoiler. This is a spoiler. So I'm telling about how the gang all got together. So now Johnny's got a broken arm, or his arm's in a sling, which and he clearly doesn't like the idea of having his sister, you know. But again, it's not about her being of a different color. It's just about her being supposedly smarter than he is, and he's supposedly a smart builder, you know, mechanic kind of guy and everything. So his dad brings him into the team. So then that makes four. So now they are four scientists, you know, building this, you know, quantum device and everything. And Johnny and, you know, Doom, they have a little bit of tension, but friendly tension. So everybody likes Victor. Victor seems to be a cool guy, somewhat of an ass, but he's somewhat of a cool guy. And so relationships form, and they build this four-way device that allows them to travel interdimensionally and everything. And so everything's all good. Everything's off to a good start, you know. So the first act is pretty solid and everything. And they test the device with a monkey, and they did. Now, what I thought was cool here is it's about missed opportunities. You know, I mean, I know this is made by Fox and everything, and they're not thinking about the future or about expanded universes, but they should be thinking about Fantastic Four's universe. And you know, there could have been, you know, a Russian scientist there who gave up that monkey. There could have been an allusion to the super apes, you know, because this monkey went into this other dimensional place and everything. And was he changed or was he not changed? They could have done something like that. And we as fans would have been like, ooh, yeah, the super apes. That would have been kind of cool.
What's
you know?
the Super Apes?
Well, it's just from the comic books where, you know, when they sent the monkey over into that other zone, you know, Planet Zero, which they should have called the negative zone, but they called it Planet Zero. And, you know, when the monkey came back, he didn't come back affected. You
It
know,
reminded me of Planet of the Apes.
yeah, but also, don't you must have seen in the Fantastic Four like cartoon about the Russian guy, the Red Ghost with the super apes who had Fantastic Four powers.
I only watched one episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so moving on. So what happened was there is that now here's the thing that also really kind of pissed me off was is that they introduced this. I don't even know. He was a science guy. He was a CIA
Bowman,
guy.
basically.
Well, I was gonna say that some guy named Harvey, but like if you do the reading, you know he was Harvey Elder, which was supposed to be the Mole Man's real name. Now they've never called him Harvey Elder in the story, but he was supposed to be Harvey Elder. So if he was going to be the Mole Man in the original incarnation of the script, somebody changed everything come the third act of the film, and this is where
Damn
the
you,
film started.
Regan.
Damn you, Regan. And that's where you know something. You know, clearly people aren't thinking here. You know, so anyway, we'll get to what happens to Harvey Elder. But the whole point about it is that so now that he sees that the device works, you know, he immediately says, "Forget about you guys traveling. We're gonna bring some soldiers in. We're gonna like send them over to this other side, and you know, we're gonna take over your project." Now, like, whoa. Now, what was great about this was Josh Trank and Simon Kinberg thinking about how we can make this our own and play with the mythos. So what we know is that in the '60s, it was kind of stupid in their origin, where the Fantastic Four decides that only those four can actually get onto this rocket and go up into space and get bombarded by cosmic rays. Now the thing about it is, why were they doing that? So in the '60s, we don't know. We just know that it was just this kind of idea of these four strangers, deciding. None of them really have like astronomical skills, astronaut skills. But the whole point is that they did. So this actually made sense. So Trank and Kinberg decided that, these kids were told that they were going to be the human test subjects, and it was taken away from them. So they decided to get drunk. As kids do. And then as they decided to get drunk, then they're kind of like, hey, we could go. Nobody's watching. We could go be the first one to step on there. And what we'll do is we'll take a flag and we'll be like the first man to step on the moon.
Yeah, screw Buzz Aldrin.
Screwball Soldier, right? And so Reed says, hey, wait a minute. If we're going to do this, I got to call my best man, Ben Grimm, because he helped me set this up. I got to call him. And so they go, oh, yeah, sure. He has no ability whatsoever. We don't know him from Adam. But sure, man. He's your lucky charm. Call him. He calls Ben. Ben goes, oh, you want me to travel into another dimension with you? Sure. Give me a minute. Come on. I mean, doesn't really make too much sense, but, I'll buy it, Ben's got nothing to do, his life is going nowhere and everything, and so he shows up and he says, yeah, sure, man, I'll go, you sure you guys up for this? And they go, yeah, we up for it, man, yeah. Now, they're all still supposed to be drunk, so Johnny and Victor and Reed are drunk. They call in Ben, they were a lot of drunk, and they call in Ben, and they decide to, drunkenly pilot this, machine that probably costs millions of dollars and take it to another dimension.
No wonder why Mr. Fantastic can stretch.
Yeah, you can stretch the truth, you can stretch, reality, whatever. But anyway, so now something's going wrong here because we're like, wait a minute, hold on, Sue's supposed to go. So if 5 of them aren't going, 4 of them are going. So the Fantastic Four is actually Victor and not Sue. And what's going on?
So I was like, what?
This makes absolutely no sense. So the 4 of them go over to this other dimension, this negative zone, and everything like that, what they call Planet Zero. And so they're like, hey, let's walk around. Let's plant the flag. It's literally plant the flag.
And then there's all green.
Yeah, they got all this green energy running around. Hey, man,
like
let's climb down the mountain then. And then all of a sudden everything happens and Victor gets left behind.
Well, he falls.
Yeah, he falls. Oh, they think
he's doomed.
Yeah. That's a good way, he's doomed. And so then what happens is that so then they're like, oh man, we gotta get back. So they try to get back into their pods, and all of a sudden, magically, all of rocks fly into Ben's pod, and Johnny's
on fire. He
yeah, and and nothing happens to Reed, but either way is they wake up. I mean, they're trying to come back, but Sue is trying to get them back. So Sue is at the computer, protected by glass, one would think. Because she was in the room, right? She was typing on the computer she's like, hey, can you guys hear me? So she was the only one there, and she's like, oh, Dad's going to be really upset. But in all that time that she was worried about them, trying to figure out where they were, why didn't she call her dad? Dad should have been in the same room with her.
I know.
Or anybody else. Hey, my brother and friends are over there in another dimension. Maybe I should call some scientists. You know what I mean? The quantum thing is gone, and they're gone. Maybe I should call some scientists. Somebody. But she doesn't. So she's sitting there, typing on the computer, trying to, get them back and everything. And then this quantum wave explosion happens, and she gets hit by a wave. So that way she's affected, too.
That's just stupid.
Well, kind of. Yeah. So then it turns into David Cronenberg's body armor. Then it turns.
Yeah, for Fantastic Four or something.
All right. Then it turns into Cronenberg's body horror. Now this was pure genius on Trank's part, I think. The body horror stuff. These guys wake up and they're like, oh, my body's stretching, and all this kind of stuff is happening to me.
I'm on fire. There's all
Yeah. And I mean, Johnny just looked like a skeleton. He was just constantly burning on fire. It was like a burning ember and everything. So it's kind of scary, having these powers is really scary. And I think that was really cool. And I think in doing that, Trank and, and Kimber maybe decided that they're going to make a different kind of movie. They're not going to make a fun movie. And I think that's what disappointed a lot of people. They thought, as most Marvel films like Avengers, that this was going to be full-on laughs. This was going to be fun. Nobody ever said this was a funny movie. This is pretty much, Marvel's first horror film. It was pretty dark. It was pretty scary. It was pretty, and it had its light moments in it. But it was pretty dark. So in that's why I thought that the film was really good. Now, if people was expecting something light and were disappointed that they didn't get something light, then that's probably why they were upset. And I don't think that's fair. They also confused you, though, didn't it?
Well, I was expecting it to be funny, like Ant-Man. Hey, I'm Scott.
Yeah, exactly. You yourself was actually disappointed, in that stuff not being there. So anyway, So now this is where it also gets cool. So Reed, wakes up and he's all stretched out and everything, which was really cool effects. And he hears Ben, who's like, crying for him. So he manages to, ooze out, go looking for Ben. And then this is where it also gets really cool, is the fact that instead of like freeing Ben, instead of like doing anything, he's supposed to be the big brain of the team. He runs away. He escapes and runs away, like a girl, like a bitch, right? Hey, wait a minute, I thought you. He's like, I never said I was a hero, right? He runs away. He leaves his boy behind, which you're never supposed to do. You're never supposed to leave your man behind. And he leaves the girl behind. He leaves everybody behind.
The stretchers away.
Yeah. So now Harvey Elder and everybody's looking for him and stuff like that. And it's a year later. Now, what happens is that this was great in the sense where we didn't have to watch them substitute learning their powers.
Yeah.
They just time jumped and picked up to when they already know how to use their
powers.
powers.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
So that was really good. I thought that was excellent to do. So now what they are doing is, which I don't know if you picked up on, but because the Army is now controlling these Fantastic Three, with their powers, what they're doing is they're using Ben in the field. Like in war zones, and he's been killing people. Did you pick up on that? Like there was a thing where it said he killed like 47 people. They've been using him in the Army to fight their enemies, and he's been like destroying tanks and like. Now the deal is we've seen on little monitors, so we don't even get to see the stunts. We just kind of like see like these little pictures and we hear about it, and he's killing people. So Dr. Storm is like not happy, right?
So is Human Torch, like, he bent down a plane.
Well, yeah, but see, what it was that he was in training, right? So he burned down the drone. But what they were planning on doing was sending Johnny out to start killing people. And so this was really getting the dad upset. He's like, look, you can't be doing this to my kids, right?
But
so
also getting Invisible Woman
upset. Because then what he said was, look, they're looking for Reed. They're about to finish building this machine, right, to go back. So they can give these soldiers the powers that you guys got. So you need to find Reed. So so she's like, okay, give me some music, because music makes her think.
And the woman was like, what? Excuse me?
Exactly. So was everybody else, right? But then again, is that so because of this little scene that they had earlier on about the Nautilus and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Captain Nemo. Right, she finds Reed's because Reed is like on the run and everything, and he's supposedly looking for Ben.
Well, he's trying to find like a cure for Ben.
Well, he's trying to find a cure, but he also is looking for him and stuff like that. So like now they had a really confusing scene. Now you must have been confused about this, right? The guy who was trying to get a part in that place, and like he said, "I'll fix your machine, like your cash machine and everything for that part, right?" That was actually Reed. So they had another actor, right? Trying to get some foreign country, and then when he got into the car, the effect morphing was so good that he just did it, and he transforms his face back into Reed. But it still looked like the guy in a way, right? So you didn't even notice it, right? Did you?
No. Maybe he was just probably like it's like Plastic Man, where he's got the ability to just morph himself.
Exactly. So that's what he was doing, but it was done in such a weird, stupid way that you didn't even get that unless you were actually really paying attention.
Well, someone was talking to me during the film.
Yeah, but it still was very subtle and stupid. I mean, like the whole point is that like he was so he had a secret identity. They couldn't find him, but Sue finds him because she finds his IP name as Captain Nemo.
Well, it's like N.
Yeah. Do that whole digital speak. It's Captain Nemo and everything like that. So that's how she finds Reed. And stupid. Anyway, so they're like, okay, we know where he is. Send the thing, Well, they didn't say send the thing, but send Ben, whatever. So now they had this great fight in this forest. I thought it was a great fight. People said it was a great fight. This is pretty much kind of like coming down to the end of the second act.
Contest of Champions.
Well, it was cool because like usually you see superheroes fight each other. but it was so short. It was like bing, 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 and then bam. You know, and how does the thing defeat his own man is by he headbutts him.
And he's like,
wait. Now wait a minute. Reed is rubbery, right? You know, he's liquid, right? But the thing can headbutt him, and then he. Right?
Yeah, but now that I think about it, in like every like new Marvel film, there's always like two like superheroes fighting each other, like Ant-Man and Falcon, Iron Man and Thor, and Avengers 1, and
Captain America got in there too as well.
Yeah.
Well, there should be. I mean, that's what happens in comics. The superheroes always fight. The point is, so Reed is just sitting there in that glass cage, like looking all dejected and everything. But that was a great line that Ben says to him is like, "Look at me, your friend's not here," right? Something like that. You know, we're not friends anymore. And so Reed, you know, decides to help them. He sits there. They're like, "Yeah, we can't figure this machine out." Yeah, he's like, "Give me 10 minutes." No, that's not that simple. He's like, okay, I could do it in less than that, you know. And then, you know, so he fixes the machine, and they, you know, send some soldiers back into the zone. I want to call it the zone because Planet Zero is so stupid, but so the Reed and them are like the place looks different, it's changed, and Dr. Doom just comes walking along. He's been in this zone for a year, right? And so first time somebody shows up, that he's like.
He's drunk. He's still drunk.
Well, he was pretending to be hurt because he knew they'd take him away. So that was his like plan. He's like, "I knew you'd come.
I've been expecting you."
Yeah. And so once he's back in, you know, into the real world and everything, you know, then he starts blowing crap up. Yeah, but like he actually didn't look bad. Couldn't understand his powers. I mean, I think it was like electromagnetism and telepathy and whatever, all this kind of stuff.
Well, like in Doctor Doom's power is supposed to be like levitating metal objects and
that's
manipulating them. Yeah.
But anyway, so like the whole point is that like so, then he goes back he grabs his machine, and this is where it got like I thought it got too much. He kills both Harvey Elder and Franklin Storm and everything, but he doesn't kill Reed. You know, which he could, you know, but he doesn't. And, you know, and he goes back into the machine. Jenny's a little pissed, right? But then the dad, even though he's supposed to be dead, the dad still is able to say, take care of each other. He just got his brain blasted in buzz by Dr. Doom.
It's just like Uncle Ben was like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, as if they needed to hear that. You know what I mean? But they all like Doom get into the machine, and then Johnny goes, "Oh no, I'm gonna get you now!" And then he tries to get. Anyway, so now Zoom opens up a singularity and a wormhole, and it turns into the Flash. Yeah, and he's on the other side, and he's planning on destroying, you know, our world, and then the Fantastic Four have to come together and go over to the other side. And Sue flies in the Force field. I don't really remember her doing that in the comics.
It was with Reed Richards and things.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'm just saying is I know she does force fields, but I never knew she flew in the force fields. I mean, that's different.
I know that she can levitate without force fields.
Yeah, but she was literally flying. I mean, you know, literally flying, and Johnny's flying, and and they get into this negative zone, and all of a sudden, there's oxygen. Everybody's over there and they're wearing suits, right? Because you should, right? We don't know what the atmosphere and the oxygen is like. But when they all land over into the negative zone, they all just breathing like, hey, yeah, man, it's no problem. You know, there's breathable air here. Where'd that come from? How did they know? You know, they didn't take no suits. They just jumped in, you know what I mean?
Well, he's so tall. He's so tall.
Anyway, because they said that his body is made up of the atmosphere suit. Anyway, like, the whole point about it is, now we're in the final act, and Reed is like, you know, we gotta work together and everything, and, you know, they band together and they, you know, fight Doom and defeat Doom and all that other kind of stuff.
No, don't be going on, you defeat Doom and all that kind of stuff. Basically, what Doom's trying to do, like, he's trying to create his own entire world. So
I said that, yeah.
So he sucks everything in and all that stuff, and then, like, he's still fighting him, and Doom, like, takes him down, like,
Oh, yeah, I mean, okay, it's a hard fight, you know, because they were like, oh, no, we can't, because the thing goes, we can't defeat him, You know, and Reed's like, yes, individually we can't defeat him, but together we can. You know what I mean?
And then they like
it was a terrible like.
And then like
gift
Human
speech.
Torch is like all covered with rock stars to sing, and like
Yeah.
Invisible Woman is like.
But they all break out. I mean, they all
Yeah.
break out at the same time. And then, of course, you know, Ben had to do the clobbering time, and
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
clobbering time. Right?
yeah, and then
And he gets that from like the person who like bullied him at home or something, like his brother or something.
I don't know if the brother said that. Did the brother say that?
Yeah, like he said to her, it's clobbering time, and then like he punched him, and then like
That's when the mother came in.
yeah.
Oh man, I must have missed that.
I told you he's saying it's clobbering time, and that's where he got it from.
Good one, son. I didn't yet. See, look at that. So they made sense of why he said clobbering time. That was good. I didn't know that. So anyway, whole point is, so in the end, you know, the government is like, okay, guys, we're gonna like let you live and then you do this, and they're like, no, that doesn't work for us. This is what we want. Instead of having a master building, they want some space. Yeah, they want. They, you know, so they give him pretty much will probably become the Future Foundation. You know, they give him some secret lab place and everything like that. And all of a sudden, you know, Ben doesn't care about being turned back into human or whatever. You know, and like, so they're like, you know, we need a name. And
then they come up with all these names like Human Torch and the Torchettes and like
or the Brave Box and the bunnies or whatever, I don't know.
And like the Human Torch and like the thing that no one cares about.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. And then
Thing says like this place is fantastic, and Reed's like, say that again. It's fantastic. I thought of a name.
And then it cuts off the same way that's Whedon. They cut it off the same way that damn you Whedon. What is that? Yeah, what is that? Fantastic. It's kind of like, yeah, I got a name. It's like they think that it's corny to say the things that we want. I mean, it's not corny to say the things that we want. You know, like we want Avengers Assemble, that's what we want. If we want Fantastic Four, that's what we want. You know, at least Johnny didn't go up and do the 4 in the sky.
Well, he done that in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I mean. At least he didn't do that. And then, so the last thing is, there was no Stan Lee.
He was in the other 2 Fantastic Four movies. Like, he was a janitor.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. So, like, Reed Richards was just walking in, like the hotel, and suddenly said, "Excuse me," and and Reed Richards was like, "Oh, sorry."
No. He was the postman. He was Willie Lumpkin. He was the postman in Fantastic Four, and that was Willie Lumpkin, and he was the janitor in Spider-Man. Anyway, so we gotta end this because it's like 30 minutes. So pretty much, what I wanted to say was I did enjoy the film. Yeah, what I wanted to say was I did enjoy the film. I thought it was a body horror, film. I thought it was a drama with elements of comedy. I thought it was entertaining. I thought the way they treated Doom was fantastic. I thought the way they altered the storyline was great, But I thought that what suffered was when we all heard that Trank busted up the hotel rooms, and we all heard that there was reshoots and all of this other kind of stuff. There was a lot of scenes that was shown in trailer that didn't end up in the movie. Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff, and I think that when they initially created the Harvey Elder character, I thought that they were trying to allude to him becoming the Mole Man.
In the second
movie, and then that didn't happen when they decided to kill him off.
Analysis.
What?
Annihilus.
Annihilus. Yeah, but see the thing about it. Yeah, but see the problem with Annihilus is the fact that on the one hand, Doom looked kind of like Annihilus, but the problem with Annihilus is that Doom's been there for a year, controlling that planet, so he would have seen or dealt with Annihilus, and you could say that when they killed Doom or when they defeated Doom, we didn't actually see a body, so you can always have that thing as well. You didn't see a body. You know what I mean? So, either way you look at it is that will there be a sequel? Well, they're already supposed to be planning one. They're probably hoping that with the box office sales that will lead to one or not. Could Fox be throwing it away? Some people were suspecting that Fox just doesn't want Marvel to have it because if this movie was bad, supposedly Marvel would have been able to take over the franchise and reboot it like they're doing Spider-Man.
If Marvel done it, then that'll be awesome.
But see, here's the problem. The problem is that two bad Fantastic movies. Now this third one, it's not going to bode well to reboot the Fantastic Four yet again.
It's turning into Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, but at least with the reboot of Spider-Man, there's a whole new plan for a reboot of Spider-Man. As far as rebooting Fantastic Four, finding 4 more actors to be the Fantastic Four and to change the storyline yet again, I don't know if they could do that. I mean, what they have to do is try and figure out how they can make this work. I mean, now that they got the Fantastic Four in this science place that's in Area 52 somewhere, it's about. What is it going to be about? Is it going to be about exploration? Is it going to be about looking for, mutants? Skrulls? Yeah, exactly.
Miss Marvel?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but the thing about it is that we don't know, don't care for it, I don't know. Anyway.
Let's wait till it happens, and it's probably going to happen in 2020.
Well, first of all, we'll have to see what happens with the box office.
Also, one more thing.
With the weekend box office. Because the weekend box office will really let you know whether or not Fox is going to continue.
Is the Fantastic Four going to be Infinity War?
No way would they would. They weren't even planned. They weren't even planned to be in Infinity War. What it was planned was Fantastic Four was going to team up with the X-Men in a future movie. That was what the plan was. Is that after this X-Men Apocalypse, they would have done a Fantastic Four 2 and then a potential Fantastic Four meet the X-Men. But then again, it's like, I don't see that happening at all.
Yeah, because there's 4 and there's like over 100 X-Men.
Yeah, but again, it happened in the comics. Anyway, so thanks for listening to this podcast. I mean, I know it's kind of confusing about whether we liked or didn't like. How about just this? Did you like it?
No. It's crappy.
Essential.